If you've watched this entire series from the beginning, I want to acknowledge something before we go any further. You came here with a real question, maybe a real hurt. You've watched videos about why avoidants go cold, why they shut down, whether they can change, why you keep choosing them, and you've absorbed that information because understanding the pattern matters to you. But understanding is only half the equation. This video is the other half. Today, I'm going to give you the specific, research-backed steps for actually rewiring the pattern, not just understanding it. Because knowing why you're drawn to emotionally unavailable partners and actually changing what your nervous system finds compelling, those are two completely different things. And I want to be clear from the start. This video is not about becoming someone who never feels attraction. It is not about lowering your standards or settling for someone who bores you. It is about building the internal conditions under which your nervous system naturally begins to recognize safety as desirable and intensity as a warning sign rather than a promise. The research on how this actually happens is specific. Let's get into it. What this video is and isn't. Before we go into the steps, a quick frame. This video is for anyone who keeps finding themselves drawn to emotionally unavailable, hot and cold, or avoidant partners, has done the cognitive work, the reading, the journaling, the self-reflection, and still finds the pattern repeating, knows intellectually what they should do, but feels pulled in a different direction by their nervous system. If that's you, you're not failing. You're experiencing exactly what part 4 of this series described, a nervous system that was trained to equate emotional intensity and uncertainty with love. Cognitive insight alone cannot retrain that. What changes it is corrective experience, repeated, over time, in multiple domains of your life simultaneously. That is what we're mapping today. And one more thing, this work is not linear. You will not complete step 3 and be done. You will cycle back. You will have moments of clarity followed by moments of backsliding. That is not failure. That is how nervous system rewiring actually works, according to the research.
Step 1. Regulate before you relate. Here is the most fundamental thing the research tells us about anxious attachment and relationship patterns. You cannot make good relational decisions from a dysregulated nervous system. When you are activated, when the anxiety is running, when the cortisol is elevated, when you are in pursuit mode, your prefrontal cortex, the part of your brain responsible for long-term decision-making and pattern recognition, is partially offline. A 2025 neurocognitive review published at BioLife Health Center confirmed what neuroimaging research has shown repeatedly. Anxiously attached individuals experience chronic HPA axis dysregulation, meaning their stress hormone system is running elevated even in the absence of a real threat. Their nervous system is in a low-grade alert state much of the time. What this means practically, when you meet someone new, you are not evaluating them with your full cognitive capacity. You are evaluating them through a nervous system that is already scanning for familiar patterns of emotional unavailability and lighting up in recognition when it finds them. A dysregulated nervous system cannot accurately assess safety. It only recognizes familiarity. So the first step is not a dating strategy. It is a daily practice. Research on nervous system regulation and attachment, including a 2024 systematic map published in PMC on mindfulness and attachment orientations, found that regular contemplative practices, including mindfulness, breathwork, and loving-kindness meditation, produced measurable reductions in both attachment anxiety and avoidance over time. Not overnight, over weeks and months of consistent practice. The mechanism is direct. These practices strengthen the prefrontal cortex's capacity to regulate the amygdala's threat response. They literally expand the window of tolerance, the range within which you can engage emotionally without going into hyperactivation. In plain terms, a nervous system that is regularly regulated makes calmer, more discerning relationship decisions. It is less reactive to familiar intensity. It has more capacity to notice safety and value it. This is not optional supplementary work. According to the research, it is the foundational work. Everything else builds on it. Practical starting point. Even 5 minutes of slow diaphragmatic breathing daily, documented to activate the parasympathetic nervous system, begins to shift the baseline. Not 5 minutes once, 5 minutes every day for months. Consistency is what the research consistently identifies as the active ingredient. Step 2. Target the root, not just the symptom. Most people try to stop attracting avoidant partners by changing their dating behavior. They set new rules. They wait longer before texting back. They try not to come on too strong. They work on their standards. This is symptom management. It addresses the behavior while leaving the root untouched. The root, as we established in Part 4, is a nervous system template built in childhood around inconsistent emotional availability. That template is stored not just in your thoughts, but in your body, in your physiological responses, in the parts of your brain that operate below conscious awareness. Research on trauma-informed therapy approaches, including a 2024 comprehensive review published in the Journal of Biomedical Research, confirms that EMDR, eye movement desensitization and reprocessing, achieves 77 to 90% remission rates in single trauma cases. And critically, attachment-focused EMDR specifically addresses early relational wounds, the exact mechanism that creates the anxious attachment template, rather than only targeting discrete traumatic events. EMDR, 77 to 90% remission in single trauma cases, and attachment-focused adaptations target early relational wounds directly. What EMDR does at a neurological level is this. It helps the brain reprocess memories and experiences that were stored with their original emotional charge still intact. A childhood experience of reaching for connection and being met with inconsistency, stored with the emotional imprint of anxiety, urgency, and the sense that love requires effort, gets reprocessed so that the emotional charge dissipates. The memory remains. The body's automatic response to it changes. Emotionally focused therapy, EFT, is the other evidence-based approach the research consistently identifies for attachment healing. A 2025 study published in the International Journal of Research and Innovation confirmed that EFT demonstrated substantial advantages in reducing relational distress and expanding relationship satisfaction, specifically in participants with histories of emotional attachment wounds. The focus on processing emotions rather than just restructuring thoughts is what makes it particularly suited to attachment-based patterns. These are not the only options. Internal family systems therapy, somatic experiencing, and attachment-based psychotherapy all have evidence bases for attachment healing. What they share is this. They address the nervous system and the implicit, body-held memory, not just the cognitive narrative. The bottom line is straightforward. If you have spent years doing cognitive work, reading, journaling, understanding the pattern intellectually, and the pattern keeps repeating, that is strong evidence that the root has not yet been reached. The root requires a different kind of intervention.
Step 3. Redefining what love is supposed to feel like. In Part 4, we established that the anxious nervous system may not register secure, consistent love as compelling because it doesn't match the template of what love has historically felt like. This creates a specific practical problem. You may meet genuinely available, emotionally healthy people and feel nothing, and then feel ashamed of feeling nothing. The research frames this very specifically. A 2025 clinical study published in Psychiatry Research noted that when individuals with anxious attachment encounter low-drama, consistently available partners, the absence of the familiar stress response can register as lack of chemistry, when it is actually the absence of threat activation. Here is the reframe the research supports. What you are calling no chemistry may actually be no cortisol. And that is not a problem. That is the point. It may mean no threat activation. That is security, not boredom. The practical work here is deliberate. It involves two things. First, extending the evaluation window. Research on attachment and relationship development consistently shows that secure attachment bonds form more slowly than anxious-driven attraction. The intensity you feel in week 2 with an avoidant partner took months or years to build with the secure people in your life who feel most safe. Give a secure person the timeline that anxious attraction gets, not because you owe them it, but because your nervous system needs time to learn that this slower building can become genuinely compelling. Second, journaling the body response, not just the emotional response. After spending time with someone new, write down not just how did I feel, but where did I feel it in my body? Anxious attraction tends to live in the chest and throat, tight, urgent, electric. Secure connection tends to live lower, steady, calm, warm. Learning to distinguish those physical signatures over time is how you begin to retrain what your nervous system considers desirable. Step 4. Build your own secure base first. One of the most consistent findings across attachment research is this. Anxiously attached individuals place an enormous amount of their emotional regulation burden onto their romantic partners. The partner becomes responsible for managing their anxiety, reassuring their worth, confirming the relationship's stability. A 2025 study published in the Journal of Social Psychology, using a daily diary design with anxiously attached participants, found that on days where highly anxious individuals perceived greater partner commitment, they reported significantly greater positive relationship feelings. Their daily emotional state was directly tethered to their perception of their partner's engagement. This is not a personal failing. It is what anxious attachment looks like functionally. But it creates a relational dynamic where the anxious partner needs constant reassurance, which overburdens secure partners, and which the avoidant partner's withdrawal makes catastrophically painful. If your partner is responsible for your emotional regulation, you will always need more than any human can give. The research on what actually changes this is called earned secure base development, building the internal capacity to self-regulate, self-soothe, and self-validate, independent of a partner's behavior. This does not mean emotional independence or suppressing your need for connection. It means developing enough internal stability that a partner's mood, distance, or silence does not collapse your entire sense of self and safety. Practically, the research identifies several specific mechanisms. A diverse, stable support network. Research consistently shows that anxiously attached individuals who rely on a single romantic partner for most of their emotional support are most vulnerable to the pursuer-distancer dynamic. Distributing emotional reliance across multiple secure relationships, close friendships, family, therapist, community, reduces the intensity of what you need from a romantic partner. Consistent self-soothing practices, not suppression, not distraction, actual regulation, movement, breathwork, creative expression, time in nature. The research on HPA axis dysregulation and anxious attachment points specifically to embodied physiological practices as what shifts the baseline, not cognitive strategies alone. Tracking your own states with curiosity rather than alarm. A 2024 study published in Frontiers in Psychology found that mindfulness practice measurably enhanced prefrontal limbic connectivity in participants. In plain terms, it improved the brain's ability to observe emotional states without being overwhelmed by them. That capacity, watching your anxiety without becoming it, is the foundation of a secure base.
Step 5. The small choices that rewire the pattern. Here is where the research gets most specific and most actionable. Nervous system rewiring does not happen through grand decisions. It happens through thousands of small, repeated choices that create new neural associations over time. A 2024 longitudinal study published in Social and Personality Psychology Compass, one we referenced in Part 3, found that avoidantly attached individuals who experienced frequent daily positive relationship events showed measurable movement towards security over time. Not intensive interventions, daily positive micro-experiences accumulated. The same mechanism applies in reverse for anxiously attached individuals learning to choose security. Small choice 1. When you feel pulled towards someone unavailable, pause and name what you're feeling in your body before acting. I feel urgent. I feel like I need to close this gap right now. Naming the state interrupts the automatic behavior. Not always, not immediately, but over time, the pause creates a gap between impulse and action, and that gap is where new choices get made. Small choice 2. When a consistently available person reaches out, respond from presence, not from the part of you that finds them too easy. The dismissal of secure partners often happens in small moments, a text that feels too eager, a plan that feels too available. Notice when you're about to discount someone for being consistent. Ask yourself, is this a red flag or is this just unfamiliar? Small choice 3. After a date with someone secure and kind, notice what your nervous system is doing and choose to stay curious rather than concluding no chemistry. Give it one more encounter, then another. Research on attachment security development is consistent. Security builds incrementally through repeated experiences that update the internal working model. You are not going to feel it immediately. That is not evidence it isn't there. Small choice 4. When the anxious spiral starts, reach for your regulation practice before reaching for your phone. The instinct when activated is to seek reassurance from the source of the anxiety. The research is clear that this perpetuates rather than resolves the cycle. Regulate first, then decide whether to reach out. These choices feel small. They are small, but a 2024 study on attachment security enhancement confirmed that consistent intrapersonal processes, how the anxious individual relates to their own internal state,
predicted daily relationship quality more reliably than their partner's actual behavior. In other words, how you manage yourself is the variable you actually control, and it turns out to be more powerful than you think. The honest timeline, what real change looks like. I want to be honest with you about what the timeline looks like, because unrealistic expectations about how fast this happens are one of the main reasons people give up. The research does not give us a clean number, but the longitudinal studies we've referenced throughout the series on attachment security development, on earned secure therapeutic attachment, on daily positive experience accumulation, consistently point to a timeline measured in months and years, not weeks. This does not mean you will be suffering for years. It means the change is gradual, like learning a language or building a physical skill. There are plateaus, regressions, and sudden leaps forward. The trajectory is not linear. What you will likely notice first is not, "I no longer feel attracted to avoidance." You will first notice the pause arriving before the impulse, a half-second of awareness where before there was only automatic behavior. Then the pause gets longer. Then the noticing gets more reliable. Then gradually, over months, the automatic pull toward familiar intensity begins to lose some of its charge, and simultaneously, what you find yourself noticing about secure people begins to shift. This is not you becoming someone different. It is you becoming more fully yourself, a self that was always capable of secure connection, but whose nervous system had been organized around a different template. That template can change. The research is clear on that. Closing, series finale. We have covered a lot of ground in the series. We started with the neuroscience of why avoidants go cold. We mapped the 5 specific triggers that cause shutdown. We looked honestly at whether change is possible and what real change requires. We traced the exact neurological reason why anxious people are drawn to avoidant partners. And today, we laid out the specific, evidence-based steps for actually rewiring that pattern. If there is one thing I want you to take from all 5 of these videos, it is this. Nothing about this pattern means you are broken or unlovable or asking for too much. The pattern is a survival adaptation. It was built by a nervous system trying to do its best with the information it had in childhood. It has served you in ways you may not even fully recognize. And it can change, not because you force it, not because you find the right person, but because you do the specific work of giving your nervous system new experiences, consistently, patiently, over time. That is the research. That is the honest answer. And I think you already knew, somewhere, that it was going to require more than watching videos. You've done the understanding part. Now comes the living it part. I'm rooting for you.